Welcome, guys, to day one. I'm with Steven,
Hi guys.
and today we're going to be talking about various topics: business, economics, and living your daily life. So, Steven, you have an interesting story of when you came to LA from New York. I do want to know a little bit more about you. So, tell us where you're from, what age did you move to the US, what you do for a living, how old are you right now, and how was your life in New York too?
I'm from Colombia. I moved to USA like, let's say, like 4 years ago. I moved because the COVID hit pretty hard in Colombia. I was doing my college, but everything was like really hard to actually get money, and my father and my mom was helping me, but like I didn't want to put that kind of weight on them. So what I did was move here in like mid COVID, and it was really hard because in Colombia they didn't have like flights to USA, so it was like pretty expensive also. But that was the reason why I came. After I came here, I came with like a mindset of like I was doing in the college like really good. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come get a job. I thought that it was gonna be really easy, but like once I came here and I saw how everything was, like decided by the language because I didn't used to speak English, and right now it's like I'm getting better, but I'm working on it. But it was like really hard. Like that was my first like thing that I have to work on because it was like something that I have to improve to be able to get a better position where I was. And also I had to do like a lot of jobs. I work as a bartender, barista, like then construction, then a lot of things.
How is your life as a bartender? How's like that nightlife?
So it was like the first thing that I noticed was that you have to change your like sleep schedule because you start working like at 3 and then you get off work like at 3 a.m. So you have like go home, then go sleep like at 5 a.m. and then wake up the next day. And by those days I have two jobs. I have the construction job and the bartender. So I would like only sleep like 3 hours a day. So it was like a really hard time. I was making good money though, but like I wasn't able to sleep. So I have to like choose where I want to work. And the nightlife, it was good, but also bring me like more consequences because when you're working as bartender, you have to like start trying new cocktails. You have to make new recipes. So it was like it was good, but like I also it was like you change your lifestyle in maybe not a good way at all because you start doing things that you wasn't doing before, and some of those things like it's not gonna get you too long. So you have to like really be wise when you're working as a bartender to actually be able to improve and not get lost in the world.
And how are you right now? I mean, how old are you right now?
I'm 24 right now.
24. And you started working at what age here in the US as a bartender in construction?
I was like 21, I would say.
You were 21.
Yeah,
So you were barely coming from Colombia. You were studying,
yeah,
and then you decided to go into the nightlife and construction.
yeah.
And how much were you making around? How much were you making?
So I was making like a week, let's say like 1,000 on construction plus like 1,000 on like as a bartender.
So 2,000 per week.
Yeah,
You could say around 8,000 per month,
yeah,
right? So if we do the calculations, 8,000, so 96,000 per year
yeah. It was
plus tips.
plus tips. Yeah,
So if we do a whole calculation, like 100K
yeah. I think a little
at
more.
the age of 21.
Yeah.
And what did you feel being able to have that much money and being able to spend that much money? Uh, what did you spend it on, first of all?
So I think that when I start making that much money, I also like for the first time in life I was able to like having a lot of cash on me. So like I was spending a lot of money also because I never like I didn't my parents didn't teach me how to manage the money wisely. So I was like, oh, by those times I was getting into car. So I bought my first BMW. Then I started buying like turbos, like, a lot of things for the car. And I was usually the in the weekends I go out to run with my friends and street racing and things like that. And I was spending a lot of money into a car. So I was like, it was like a really nice feeling but my parents was like, you're getting package every day, like you have the turbos, exhaust every day, and it was like really expensive stuff. But like I didn't notice that the fact that I thought that I was always gonna make that much money. So after like 2 months, my body was starting to like having some issues. Like I wasn't able to like really have like a good sleep, and I was having some like problems related with my body. So I have to like choose where I wanna work, and then my income like it dropped down a lot because I was just doing my job, and that's when I was like, wow, like I'm not gonna be able to make this money for long, and I already spent and got into debt for buying things that I didn't really need it.
When we met around, what is it, a year ago
Yeah,
or a year and a half ago, the first time that you came to LA, because right now we are in LA, and you were in New York, right?
yeah,
Fast life,
crazy.
super fast pace. Everyone's like on their own little business going on in their head. You get me? So, what was like the culture shock from you, a New Yorker, to LA?
So one of the reasons why I decided to move to LA was that when I was living in New York, like everything goes fast, like the time, like the everyday things you are doing, like everything goes so fast, like you are not gonna really able to like sit down and relax because you have things to do. The people is like crazy. If you go to a train, everybody's running, everybody like is stressed. So it's like a really fast kind of life. And then when I came here, because I came to visit my friend, I saw the change how people is so different here. Like the lifestyle is really different here, and I was like coming from a crazy lifestyle from New York to see that you are gonna be able to have still being able to do money and to do business and to grow as like a person, but also being able to like if you wanna take a day off or like something I don't know like stay at home and don't feel like oh no I'm losing time I'm not making money today the rent is coming or things like that. And I saw that you're gonna be able to do that here. I was like, that's something that I want, because after like 2 years of being working like nonstop, like you really get exhausted, and sometimes you wanna like settle down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I did notice like the first time that you came here, you drove actually. You drove all the way from New York
Yeah, I did.
to LA. You were on your BMW. It was at the moment it was a 328,
Yeah,
right? And like it was a nice, very nice BMW. Did you had anything in that BMW?
and I was like just like basic stuff like a tune and exhaust. That's all.
Tunes and exhaust.
But it
So
was really nice. Like I
super
watched it
basic
often.
stuff. Uh, I remember just meeting this kid that was like just coming into my house because we have a friend in common, right? Felipe. I remember that you were coming here. He talked to me. He was like, "Hey, bro. So I have a buddy." And when he said, "I have a buddy," I was like, "Oh no, that doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good at all." Yes, Felipe. I have a buddy that he helped me out in New York a lot, and he means a lot to me. And he's gonna come to LA. I was like, well, let him come to LA. Like, but he doesn't have a place to stay. Well, there's a lot of places to stay. Like, oh, but can he stay with us? Like, okay, well, that's different. I was like, for how long, Felipe? Like, oh, just for a month. I'm like, oh, for sure. So when I saw Steven coming in, right, I was like, interesting guy. Drives a BMW, um, coming from another place, a fast paced life, right? And it was just a very. I didn't think of anything at that time. It was for me. It was just like okay, just another guy. You get me? We were telling the story about how we met, how we me and Steven met, and it was through a friend, Felipe. See, right? So Felipe, do you remember when you told me about Steven coming to LA?
The first time.
Yeah. nos puedes decir un poquito de esa historia? Like, just
Yeah.
tell us a little bit of that
Yeah,
story.
sure. Basically, me and Steven, we met in Colombia. We were friends since 2017. So we pretty much hang out all the time in Colombia. We used to go to Medellin. We live in Bogota. We, play soccer, play video games.
Everything.
In those days, we used to live with our parents, so we didn't do anything. And Steven has been my ride or die. Wherever he go, I go. Wherever I am, he's with he's with me. So I remember suddenly after pandemic, he moved to New York, and I was like, oh my god, no, I'm gonna lose my friend. We cried that night. We like, oh bro, I will never forget you. I was in those days. I was in the university, and then you know what? He told me like, hey bro, come here. You have visa. You speak English. Why you don't come? We work together. He used to live in New Jersey in a Jewish town, and that was crazy because I was like, well, you know what? Let's go. Why not? I told my family, oh, I'm gonna be for only 3 months. It's been already 4 years. So, but I told him like, yeah, let's go, and I pretty much met Sadrac before Steven, so we've been in touch. Like we've been friends. We always, hang out together when I used to come to LA, and then I always say like, oh, I wanna be in LA, and I used to tell Steven the same thing. I mean, I wanna be in LA, bro. You like New York, you like your family, but my place is LA. I think
Yeah.
this is my place. I love being here. And then after like 3 difficult years in New York, and without your family, when you don't have like I mean, I have my friends, but like when you don't have your family around, it's kind of hard. You start doubting so many things. And then I had an accident in my motorcycle in New York, and I told my friend like, bro, I wanna change my life. I wanna move on, and I moved here to my friend. I was so happy. I was like, bro, I love you. I love spending time with you. Blah blah blah. But like I said, wherever I go, he has to be there. So and I told Sadrac like, hey bro, Sadrac, I have a friend. He's like my best friend after you, like So why you don't let me, bring it so you guys, meet each other. We can hang out. He's good at computer. He's good at mechanic. This one is good at so many things. I was like, hey, we can use it. It's a good tool.
A good tool to have.
Yes, it's a good guy. So he came.
El inmigrante, good too.
Yeah. All the US people like, hey, we need you. But then he came, so he was like trying to figure out, set it down, look how's everything going. Then he moved back to New York, but I stayed. And like I said, I always wanna have my friend with me. I wanna stay with them. So that was in 2023. Now in 2024, like 3 months ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of 5 months, like May. And in May, he told me I was working in. I remember I was working like in Oxnard, something like that. He called me, hey bro,
What do you do for a living, man?
Oh, basically, sorry, I forgot to say I'm an electrician. So I basically do all the electrical works. I work for a company. I do side jobs, and I like work. I'm a hard worker, to be honest. I like work.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 25. 25.
25. So you were saying about like the story with him that you were like bringing him. He came in May, and you were in Oxnard, right? You were working in Oxnard, in the sun.
Oh, yeah. So I remember that day because for me I was so happy. I was working and I was checking because I'm tracking his location. Yeah, because that's what best friends do. Okay, you guys
Toxic.
track.
Toxico.
You guys track location. So I had his location. I was like, oh my god, he passed already Denver. Oh my god, he's in Las Vegas. Oh my god, he's coming. Oh my god, he's in LA. Oh my god, like 5 minutes away. So I was happy because he showed up in the hotel. We went to eat. I was so happy, and I told him like right now where I'm working, I'm out of town, so go meet Sadrac. Go guys, stay together. In the meantime, I finish what I'm doing here, and I see you guys at home.
Yeah. I remember that first day that I saw him. It was a weird day because the first thing that I told him is, "What do you want to do with your life?"
Yeah.
Right? And because he had already texted me before coming
Mhm.
that he wanted to change his life. It was similar, like when Felipe came to LA, and he said, "Hey, bro, like I almost died, and I want to change my life. What can I do to change my life? I don't want to live a life like I was living in New York anymore," because Felipe lived a very exotic life in New York,
Easy.
right?
Yeah, easy.
Very exotic life. He was making some money, but because of that kind of lifestyle, he also went into debt. Is a lot of what I've noticed with our Latino community is that our parents don't teach us financial structure and financial classes,
Yeah,
right?
nice.
And values. So we don't really know what to do with money at first. So we go into debt, high debt, and we don't know what to really, where to invest, what to do with our money, and really where to go with that, right? So it was like something similar with when Steven came in and he was like, "Bro, I want to change my life." At the moment, I was focused on my company, a company that it's been a lot of work. It's been 4 years of hard work. It's one of my companies is way up, right? And here my friend was able to invest in it. Here my friend's able to invest in it too. And like I was like full on work, having problems with the company. We were in a phase of investment and structure within the company. So to take someone new on my wing was kind of difficult for me. Very difficult for me. I was about to tell him no because of the last time that he came, right? But I was like, you know what? If the Lord gave me a second chance to change my life around, and if I could help him, change his life around, why not do it?
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if you want to tell the story or you want me to tell the story, but I remember I told you, let's go have a coffee. Let's go get a coffee.
That's how everything is started, my friends.
Hey, that's
And I don't know if you remember, it was in Pasadena.
yeah.
Right? We went to Pasadena. We drove all the way over there. And while driving, I told them, look at these houses. Just big, beautiful houses in the Pasadena area,
Yeah.
right? Through where we were driving. And I told them, this could be your house.
And I was like, damn, I'm down.
This could be your house. Just imagine in 5 years, if you work hard, if you change your life around, in 5 years, this could be your house. You could be the owner of the house and you can have multiple businesses that work for you, right? In order for you to have a good lifestyle, right? So we got to the coffee shop, we sat down, and what was the first things that I told you, Steven?
So the first thing that he told me was, why you want to change your life, and what you don't want to be. So that was like some of the first questions that he did to me, and I was like, okay, I had never thought about it, so I was like, okay, let me do some thinking, because like I don't want to say some dumb thing. I really want to go, like really think what I want to be and where I want to be, because always like you see in movie like, oh yeah, like nice people, like really nice houses, but like one day you want to get there, but like in Colombia, we never like you never get a chance to be like, oh, you're gonna get a house like $5 million house. Like that's never something in your mind. Like always, people are gonna be like, okay, we're working check to check, like trying to survive. So once I came here and I saw like Sadrac took me to those houses, I was like, damn, imagine like me being able to afford a house like that, having a family, like being actually like having financial freedom. Like that's something that I want, and something that I never thought I was gonna be able to have. So right now it's like, okay, what I have to do to be able to get to that point, and that's some of the things that he teach me about.
And when I had that first meeting with Felipe too, I remember it
I'm gonna
was.
try, bro.
Do you remember our first meeting in a
Pretty
at the
much.
coffee shop?
Pretty much. I
What coffee
remember.
shop was it?
It was in Alhambra.
In
It was
Alhambra, yeah.
Alhambra, yeah. So not far from here. So I remember I came like like thinking I'm the best, and I have control of my finances. I have control of my life, and suddenly he told me, "Open your bank account." I was like, "Oh,
What is it?
I think I'm not a good.
I'm not good there.
I'm not. And I told him like, no, bro, I have control of my finances. So I remember, I wanna say he has been a hard worker too. Like in the computer, he was doing like something on Excel. He was doing something like I was like, oh my god. He turned up the computer and was like, let's talk, bro. And show me your bank account, and I showed him, and he started like, oh my god, but you own this, you have this, you have subscriptions, you have a lot of things, bro. What?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but I work, I don't have kids, I'm supposed to afford all the.
Sí,
all,
tengo que disfrutar
I know,
mi dinero.
tengo que disfrutar my money, what? I'm working for it. And he was like, no, bro. And let me tell you something, you're gonna destroy your life, and you're not gonna get what you want, and you're gonna waste all the all the things that you have done, all the right things, all your life, your family. So he started talking about my family. I was like, oh my god, no. And seriously, so for the first time I was thinking like serious, like, oh, hold on. And I remember like we did a list, how much I'm making, all the things I own, because I used to own a lot of money. A lot of money. I used to live like asking people for, hey, can you borrow me some money? So that's how I used to survive. And that was the first thing you told me. You gotta cut off that. You gotta
Yeah.
cut off that.
No debt.
No debt. Start paying your own. Start paying your own things. Start paying all the things you have. And even if you have only $1 left, you know that it's yours. And it was a big process to get to that. Because I used to be like, hey bro, borrow me some money, please. We were supposed to be friends, A few times he did it, but I remember the last time he did it. Because I need it. I gotta pay the card, and I was like, bro, I gotta pay my card. If I don't pay, you know what is gonna happen. And I was on the phone, and you told me, don't worry, it's okay, don't pay. If you can afford a card, don't get it. And I was like, what? And I remember I called the finance, and they allowed me to get some days. But I remember instead of getting mad at him, I was like, oh, he did the best for me, because I understood that I gotta work hard and I gotta save my money in order to don't start asking people to borrow me money. And since that day, I'm happy because I stopped owing people money. And I remember like few times later, he was like, hey bro, borrow me 2K, it was like $2,000. Oh, he called me like, hey bro, can you borrow? I was like, bro, you have $1 million company, why are you asking me 2K, bro? Like, I barely am a helper, bro, when I'm working. Like, but I told him like, yeah bro, I have 2K. And I sent him to sell. And he literally, like, one day after, he sent me back. And I was like, bro, you say you need it, you're going to pay me later. I was like, no, I was just testing you. If you have, if you save your money and you pass the level, and if you change your life. And I'm proud, like, my friend always been, like, straight with me. But it's because he always want to, be better. He wants to see me better, and I'm getting better every day. Thank God for the things I do. In my company, I was the helper. I used to say I'm a helper, even if I know a lot of things. You guys don't ask me anything.
How much did you start making in the company that you're working now? How much did you start making, or when you started here in LA?
When I started here in LA, I started making 21 per hour.
21 per hour, like around how much a month?
A month was like.
Like 2.5?
No, it was like almost 3,000.
Almost 3,000.
3,000.
And right now, how much are you making?
Right now
With everything, side jobs and everything.
With the company where I'm working now and the side job that I have, I'm probably making like $8,000 per month.
8,000 bucks.
8,000, the less 6,000. If I only work in my company, if I don't do side jobs, but where I'm making more money is in my side jobs. He also motivated me to get my company, so that's why I start making side jobs, and I start getting better, bro. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because it's either you could work for someone else all of your life,
Yeah.
right? You could do your hourly, and when you think about the hourly rate, right? You have 60 minutes and 1 hour, right? There is 8 hours within a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes you go to 12 hours, 16 hour days, right? But if you really break it down into like weeks, you have 52 weeks in a year,
Mm-hmm.
right? So within those 52 weeks in a year, that's how much can you advance working in a company than working in your own company, right? And that's the part. You are in a rotating cycle, right? Yes, you're learning new things within the job because you're improving your skills.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going into class,
Yeah.
showing up every single day to class,
They pay me for learn, basically.
right? They pay you to learn. So you show up every single day to class, but it's not the same learning every single day and not advancing
Mm-hmm.
than having your own company, learning every single day and advancing to new levels, right? Because right now you have a year within your company. You've been working for a year in the new company, but within a year in your own company, where you're getting paid 8K per month in your own company, you could be getting paid 10, 15, 20K, 50K per month, right? So your own company is scalable.
Yes, sir.
Your job is not scalable.
Yeah, and it's always flat.
It's always flat, right? And even to get a little increase of $1.50,
You gotta make
it's a
it.
headache. You get me? You really have to show them, like, look at the skills that I have, look at all the work that I've done for you, in order just to get a little raise.
Yeah.
But in your own company, it's like, if my customers see the value of my work,
Mm-hmm.
then they're gonna hire me again, or tell their friends to hire me
Yeah.
because I did a good job. So then I get a bigger client list,
Mm-hmm.
right? That allows me to get what? More jobs,
Mhm.
a higher pay per month,
Mhm.
right? And it keeps scaling up. And that is the good thing about a company. It allows you to scale up and allows you to have more time too, right?
Yeah.
So, and another one of the things that I believe we talked about in both of them, like the meetings, when I talked to you and when I talked to you, it was 5 principles that we live on, right? It's 5 principles that we live on. And I remember when the Lord gave me these principles to become a man. It was very hard season in my life. I had just lost my father due to COVID, and I was in my room reading the Bible and screaming to God why He took him,
I
right?
remember.
And after like going through so much pain, the Holy Spirit spoke to my life and gave me these 5 principles, which if you want to prosper in this life, you need these 5 things. The first one is spiritual. You need to prosper spiritually. And to prosper spiritually, what do you need? You need to connect with God and read your Bible. Simple as that.
Devotion.
Devotional. So the other part, the emotion part, right? The emotional part is very important. You gotta prosper in the emotional part. Why? Because a lot of the things as men is that we sometimes allow our emotions to get the best out of us. And in business, when you allow your emotions to get the best out of you, you can ruin a high price negotiation, right? You could ruin a very good client because of emotions. When we don't know how to control our emotions, right, then it could affect us in a lot of things. And the other one is mental, right? You need to prosper in your mentality, right? In your intellectual. So what do we need to do? Well, we got to read books. I've been reading a really good book that I've told Steven that I've been enjoying it, right? I've read multiple books like cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. But as of right now, I've been reading about the life of the super billionaire Elon Musk, and it's super surprising because I'm able to relate with his story a lot,
Yeah.
right? So you have to
Mentally.
put a lot into this. Read a lot. Read a lot. Watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's so much free education in YouTube nowadays, in Google. There's AI as of right now that's taking over the education system because you could easily just ask AI this and it'll show you how to do it.
Right now, yeah.
You get me? So you could advance 10 times more than what people 5 years ago could advance. You get me? And then the last one, our financial part, right? If you want to really, physical part, my bad. So you have to be physically good,
Yeah.
right?
So,
You have to take care of yourself. You have to strictly start going down in weight, going to the gym, just being physically active, right? And then the financial part, which in the financial part is super, super important. And being able to learn how to financially have a good financial health in your personal life, in your business life, as with your partner later on, right? So uh, knowing these things and knowing what you've learned from me a couple months now, you Steven, a year now, right? That we've been practicing this. What do you think from everything from our 5 pillars that has really helped you?
So I will say, I say right now, I've been working because sometimes you have to like start working on some pillars and then like like prioritize which one you have to start with. Because right now I start with my emotional, my mental, and my spiritual. So those are the three that I'm working right now. Because if you really want to improve on something, you can't be focused on 5 things at once. So you have to like take it slow, because sometimes maybe you're able to step in some levels faster, but in other ones you have to take more time. So it's really a process. You have to take your own time. This is not like a competition with someone else. No, this is you versus you. So you are the one that have to really take the time to improve yourself. So I will say in my spiritual, emotional, and mental, it's hard because you have to take a lot of hard choices in your life. If you want to improve, you have to let die the all you. So you have to really change your habits, change the things that you do, change the people that you hang out with. That was a hard one for me because, like I told you guys, I was really into cars, so I have to stop that because also something happened in New York related to that like really was something that changed my perspective of life. But I will tell you guys about that story in another occasion. So when you wanna really change your lifestyle, you have to like really take hard choices, and that means change the people that you hang out with, change your habits. Like can be a really the way that you're living, because if you wanna have a different life, you can be doing the same things that you were doing before. So eso fue algo complejo para mí because I have to like dejar la persona que era atrás and turn into something better, to be able to like get to new places, to get to meet new people. So it was really hard, but it's something that I still working on it. But I think that is a choice that is worth doing it, because if you really wanna be in new places, you have to do new things, and that's something that I keep on my mind every day. So that's something that teach me and I apply every day in my life.
Y por ejemplo tú, Felipe, en los 5 pilares que tenemos nosotros, ¿qué es lo que se te ha dificultado a ti más? ¿Qué es lo que ha resaltado más también?
siento que la parte emocional para mí es un poco donde más tengo que trabajar porque soy una persona que es muy emocionalmente muy afectado porque yo pues sí me gusta hacerle sentir a mis amigos que los quiero, me gusta hacer sentir a la gente que es bienvenida, entonces chocas con gente que de pronto no, y somos culturas muy diferentes, dos colombianos, un mexicanos, los latinos, no todos fuimos criados igual, digamos financieramente. También mi papá pues nunca nos dejó trabajar a mi hermana y a mí, él siempre nos decía estudien, 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 pero nunca me enseñó, ok, cuando tú ganes tu dinero, Felipe, aprende a administrar esto, aprende a hacer esto. Él solo me decía, estudia. Y siento que es muy importante que nosotros pues aprendamos, de pronto como latinos, no nos enseñarían muchas cosas como vienes aquí a Estados Unidos, donde ves que mentalmente y financieramente es otro mundo y uno viene con la misma mentalidad de sus países. Yo tengo una familia donde es muy sedentaria, salir de su zona de confort no, fue muy difícil para ellos aceptar que yo no quería ser así, yo quería viajar, yo quería conocer, yo quería disfrutar pues más allá de la misma casa, de la misma ciudad de donde vivía. Entonces, yo creería que nosotros, los latinos, o el que escuche este mensaje, si de verdad quiere algo y si de verdad sueña con algo, como dijiste, Steven, tienes que hacer, tomar decisiones difíciles porque pues dejar tu país, yo me vine aquí solo, tenía 20 años cuando me vine, ahora ya cumplí 25, entonces ya cada número se va haciendo más serio y tú dices, ok, yo ya no puedo seguir siendo el mismo niño cuando nos conocimos, cuando yo tenía 17 que te conocí, eso ya es diferente y tu vida tiene que ser diferente y por eso están estas herramientas, por eso está Easy Help, por eso está Way Up, por eso están todos los emprendimientos que nosotros tenemos, aunque para la gente piense que eso no sirve, yo lo he visto, yo he visto el cambio en mí y mientras yo vea el cambio en mí y vea a donde he querido llegar y donde he llegado, entonces yo puedo decir, aunque para muchos no le vea provecho o no le vea beneficio, yo sí, y yo sí quiero seguir llegando a donde un día en este cuarto dijimos, ¿sabes qué? Un día vamos a tener esto, un día vamos a tener nuestra casa en San Diego, un día vamos a salir, un día vamos a viajar. Hace años se oía lejos eso. Hace años nos reíamos porque decíamos, mi amigo y yo dormíamos en un carro, ¿cómo íbamos a tener para una casa de 4 o 5 millones?
Yeah.
Y hoy digo, sí, bro, ¿por qué no? Vamos, hagámosle, estamos juntos, somos un equipo, somos una familia, y si todos nos apoyamos, porque aquí no es solo el dinero, aquí es comunidad, aquí es una familia,
Yeah.
y si tú creces, yo crezco, y si tú tienes, yo puedo tenerlo también, y si ustedes ven en nosotros que se puede, ustedes también lo pueden lograr.
Exactamente. Me gusta un refrán que yo y mi socio tenemos, que si quieres ir rápido, ve solo. Si quieres ir lejos, ve con un equipo. Right? If you want to go far, go with the team.
Yeah.
Entonces, ese punto que tocas de los latinos en la parte financiera, que los papás nunca nos enseñaron, yo lo miré con mis padres también. I saw it with my parents.
Yeah,
Right? When I started making money, they've never taught me how to structure my finances properly. They never taught me what I've been teaching you guys, right? Which is like, okay, 40-30-30, right? 40-30-30 rule.
Mm-hmm.
So 40% we use it for our living expenses, 30% we use it for investment, and the other 30% we use it to give or for savings.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Right?
I remember that.
And the first time that I was like, you know what? I feel the challenge to actually give 30%. It was very difficult for me because I was used to like, okay, giving 10%, right?
10%.
Because biblically, it's like the tithing, the 10%, you give 10%. But then when I was in that room and I was praying and I was like, Lord, speak to me, show me the financial things. The Lord revealed something. It was a revelation to me. And it was the story of Jacob when he was traveling from his hometown after getting enough, after stealing the blessing from Esau, right? Going into his uncle's land, right? And he stopped in the middle. I think it's Genesis chapter 29, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? And he said this promise to the Lord. He said, from everything that you give me, I will give you 10%.
28:20, Genesis 28:20, because that's my
28:20. There you go. So from right there, it came a revelation because in the Christian community, we're taught that you have to give your tithing. It's like you have to do it.
Yeah.
You get me? You have to. There's no other way, because there's so many other verses that says like, oh, because you don't give, you're stealing from the Lord.
Yeah.
Like in Deuteronomy,
Yeah.
right?
All the laws and all that.
And all the laws and all that stuff. But where it really hits on the revelation is on that Genesis 28:20.
Yeah.
Right? And it really hit in my heart. And the Lord really revealed to me that it came from Jacob's heart. It wasn't a law. You get me? It didn't come from any kind of law. It was just a promise that Jacob did to the Lord and that he wanted to fulfill every single time. You get me? So that was like the first part that I wanted to fulfill every single time. It's like okay, Lord, this is my promise. I will give you 10% of everything that you bless me with. Right? And I started doing it. But then the challenge changed, right? When the Lord started speaking to me about, hey, you know what? There is a universal blessing when you give to widows, you give to the poor, and you give to the homeless, right? You give food to the ones that need it, shelter to the ones that need it. There is a universal blessing to that, right? So what I started doing, I started giving more, and I started giving more to the people that needed it, right? Outside the church, I would give my tithing to the church. But outside of the church, I would give more money because it was the people that really did need it. And I saw how all of a sudden, like we just started like moving up on the financial side, right? Where I saw in a moment of my life, I saw my bank account go from 10,000 to $500,000. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. You get me? Because a guy from LA that is like not doing much at the moment, but then started going into relationship with the Holy Spirit and with the Lord and asking about the financial section of it, right? And then going into business and then listening to the Lord for with the business side too. Then seeing the bank account like moving up real quick, it was crazy for me. You get me? It was crazy for me. And before that, I was able to make money on the financial side of trading and all that stuff, right? But it was never like this because in the trading, it was very hard. You get me? It was very hard. The market doesn't care about your feelings. You gotta have some skills to go into that, right? But with the whole this whole section about trusting the Lord and following Him, right, and following the universal blessings that He places in the Bible has a bunch of blessings. You follow them, you're gonna prosper. You get me? When I start following that, then I saw the growth of money, and now it was like super simple. You get me? It was like a simple way of growing the money that I've never thought it was achievable. But the Lord showed me that it was achievable. And obviously, sometimes you're going to be here in the high place and then you're going to be super low. And you got to thank God for the low parts, for the valleys. You get me? Because you value things more. And like he said it, like, why are you asking me for 2K when you have $1 million company, when you have your company's worth more than whatever I could give you, right? And yes, like I might have $1 million company or whatever, right? But there's moments where the Lord decides to test you, right? And really take those liquid assets away, right? That liquid cash away. And you're left with what? Yeah, with assets, right? With $1 million of assets. But what happens when you don't have liquid?
You can't eat.
You can't eat. Simple as that. If you don't have liquid, you can't eat. You can't buy. You can't purchase, right? So what do you have to do? Well, you gotta be like, Lord, I thank you for this moment. I thank you for this valley that you're putting me in. Even though there is some kind of asset behind, but if you want to teach me something right now in this moment that I have absolutely nothing, right? Then teach me. I'm open to it. And even like my friends have asked me like, bro, like, why are you sleeping in a sofa?
Yeah, sometimes.
Right? And the thing that I thank the Lord is that He gave me the simplicity to enjoy the things that other people view as
It's a bad thing.
useless,
Yeah.
as bad, but I've been able to enjoy them,
Yeah.
and I view them as it's just one more step into something bigger. Because humbleness, being humble, right? It opens up the gates, the heavens, right? It opens up the blessings so that the Lord sees your heart, and so that He could give you more blessing.
Yeah.
Why? Because He sees that money doesn't change you.
Yeah.
It doesn't change your character, right? So it's one of the things that uh, I've been going through, and it's one of the things that the guy's been seeing that we go through. You get me? So yeah, like there, and this is a reality for many entrepreneurs, for many big guys that you see them right now that have like tech companies and all this stuff, right? That's starting with startups and all that. Like there is a moment where their companies will be worth millions of dollars, but they have no liquid cash on them.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're gonna be eating cup of noodles, right, and sleeping in sofas, and that's just the reality of things. You get me? Being an entrepreneur or being a business person is not simple. It has their complications. You get me? And this is something that, as a Latino,
Yeah.
you get me? Being able to understand that simple living is better, you get me, than flashing, than having that Rolex on the wrist, than having that Mercedes, that G-Wagon, right? It's simple living is better than the flashing life, right? Because flashing life just gets
Just
you
a
into
moment.
more
Yeah,
debt.
it's just a moment.
Your burn rate is way higher, right, than your production rate. So you're gonna burn your money like that, right? And one of the rules that I have, if I can't buy it 10 times, I don't buy it. You get me? I don't get it.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, an iPhone, right? I could buy it 10 times. Therefore, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? But if I can't buy it, like, I'm not going to go buy a freaking G-Wagon when I have 100K in the bank account. I'm not going to do that. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Even if it's payments, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, so I'm not gonna go get it. But if I have $1,000,000 and the G-Wagon costs 100K, what am I gonna do?
Go get it.
Yeah.
I could easily afford it. I'm gonna go get it, right?
No doubt.
So that is one of the things that it's like how I rule my finances, right? And it's just crazy. Being an entrepreneur, being a businessman, and being a businessman, it's very difficult, right? And if you don't know this about the other company that we have, all of us are members of it. It's Easy Health. We create a supplement company that helps your health, right? The everyday kind of living, because like we get affected in our health left to right, and we need supplements that will help our health like every single day, right? So we came up with this line of products that really help us. For example, Camilo or Steven, that he's been in the computer all day, that he used to suffer with migraines, he couldn't sleep, insomnia, ADHD, and all that stuff. The products have been really helping him on his day-to-day kind of thing. With Felipe, right, that he's a electrician, his heavy work, right, and he takes the products and he has energy throughout the day, he's able to sleep well. So we have this line of products that we're like pushing out to the people, because we do really believe that it's helping out a lot of people. You get me? I take it. I run 2 companies as of right now, and it's just crazy. I work all day, and because of those products, I'm able to stay sharp, right? I'm able to stay sharp. So if you really want to change your life, this is a message for you. First, you could decide, is this gonna be a one day kind of thing, or is this gonna be your day one?